Right, back in, new week, time to get back into it. We're going to just do a bit more of the wiring. Got to do the wires back to the fans and the fuel pump today, and go from there. So first thing we'll do, we'll get this fan back out. Things are sitting in there, and we'll have a look at these wires that have been joined up. We'll figure out what's going on there and make a connection for it. So it looks like someone's already wired these up to run parallel, run both fans at once. So we'll just, we can take them connections up there, reuse them. We might even take one of these plugs off here, one of them, connect that to that. Actually, won't even connect that to there like that somehow. And then we have the option of having a plug there, so we can unplug the fan, plug it back in if we have to. So just have it wired in permanently. So yeah, let's start pulling this apart a bit and just get that done. Yeah, we'll go right there. The car back to the ground. We've stuck the fan and the fuel pump wire in that tube there. Comes through behind here. The fan wire pops out here. Going to join that into the fan, and then the other wire goes into the boot, which will hook into the fuel pump later. Right, so here's what we've done. Got rid of some of the extra wire there. Join it into that plug there, so we actually unplug that if we have to. So this blue wire will connect to our wire from the relay. It's part of the loom there. We'll connect that somewhere to the rated mount as an earth, and that should work. So we go, we've got the FY connected to there. That might have to be moved down the track, but we'll see how that goes. And then I'm just going to get this blue wire down to that blue wire. If I can't see the light there's a blue wire on the floor there somewhere. There it is. So we'll join them together. Then we'll run, having the roll bar there, there's a red wire there. That's where it runs through to the fuel pump. So we'll climb in the car later, run that wire through to the fuel pump. Then we'll sort of run it through the convoluted tube, bring it up around the corner here, run it into there. And that's our fans and fuel pump wired up. I think it's time to put the wheels back, down there, front wheels on the car, put them back on, get the car back on the ground so we can get into this boot a bit easier to wire up the fuel pump. The car back to the ground, we've stuck the fan and the fuel pump wire in that tube there, comes through behind here. The fan wire pops out here, going to join that into the fan, and then the other wire goes into the boot, which will hook into the fuel pump later. The fuel pump here, got the wire coming for our new harness that we bought. It's black, which is a bit, a bit of a throw off thing, but yeah, that's the positive wire. So cut off the old negative wire that was on here. It used to actually go back to the, right back to the battery at one stage, because we're having some issues that we're trying to rule out. So what we're going to do, on the end of that, we're going to put another connector. We drill a little hole here. We're going to clean that up, clean a bit of paint off that so it earths properly. And we're just going to bolt into the cage right there and see how that goes. So let's solder this all together and bolt it together. There's the results. Wire from the switch, wire to earth. That should be good enough earth, because previously we had a separate relay up here. We had power coming up to here as well, and earth going back, chasing some issues that we had, which I think were actually related to the old engine harness. So hopefully this simpler system will work. Talk about engine harnesses, that's probably the next thing to do, get this harness out of all these injectors under here, put the new one up there in, and then we've got our adapter there to put our gauge, our oil pressure gauge sender and oil pressure light sender into. And then we can put some water in it and some, it's got petrol, some power to it, and see if we've got a car that works. And yeah, we'll get to that. Oh yeah, so I got the old engine harness out. Got the new one here. Only issue we have, this is for a later model Falcon than this come out of. So our throttle position sensor, the new harness looks like that. The old harness looks like that. So down here, right, let's find the part. There it is, straight down for the middle. It is down there. That's the actual connector there. So basically you can swap those engine harness over, but then you got to post it to Victoria, send another one back. Or the other option is the same colours, so we'll just cut that off there, cut it off there, put that onto there. And while we're at it, we might even, so there's our coil lead there. This had an extender part on it, but I'm using the coil as that plug on it. And the old one, somewhere here, here it is much longer because I had the coil mounted up on top of the manifold. So while it's apart, we might also cut this wire here and extend it so we can mount a coil in the same spot. Because otherwise, if this was any good, we could have made an extender out of this, but we had issues last time we raced with a loose. This plug was sort of loose on the coil, so we won't put that on. We'll just extend this wire here. We might use some of the wire for the extension piece to come with this. We'll use that piece of wire to extend it with, and then off we go. Yeah, I've noticed this here. It's got the two throttle position switch plugs. And the second one's starting to deteriorate, so I wonder if it's why we're having some weird oil up issues randomly. You know, this wire in here, it's seen better days. So we'll put this nicer new one in. So there we go, I've got that extended. The green, the pink and the black. Some shrink wrap on there, I've got some white tape that'll do the job. Might just tape that up a bit. And then next step is somewhere here. Yeah, somewhere here. There it is. Cut this bit of wire off here for that extender part. We're going to extend this blue one just so we can put the coil up on top of the manifold like it used to be. Just so you're not dicking around to try and get it underneath the manifold like the factory is. One of the most annoying places in the world. So we'll do that and then go from there. Right, here we are. I'll use white tape. I'll find some black tape for this later on, but this is our result. Yeah, square plug that was there. Now we've got the round plug that suits our throttle position sensor. And then also here and here, we have extended the coil lead so we can keep our coil mounted up the top of the manifold there like it was previously. So the next step is a step I'm looking forward to, is trying to get all this stuff back underneath that manifold. So before we put that wiring back in, we'll inject the wires and stuff, we've got to get our adapter for our oil pressure gauge down into there. You can't even see it, but down in the darkness there, there's a light on there. That blue plug, that's the oil pressure gauge sender. So, I think I'm going to take this whole manifold off, but we'll try and figure out what size thread that is, and there you go, you can almost see it, and then get that out, put our adapter and our oil pressure gauge sender on that, put that back in, then we can put all our injector wiring back in. There, I took the old speed motor off, that was sort of there. Actually get my arm up in there now, so we'll see if that's enough room to get this oil pressure sender out. Well, what seems like hours later, we've got our sender adapter down in there with, get your hand in there, the front bit for the oil pressure light, and that there is the sender for the oil pressure gauge. The thing is, there's 3 wires in this car, and they're all red. So go figure out which one of the red wires goes to which one, and we can hook them up. That's our stuff for the night. We've got the water sensor wired up. That's just got to go there once the coil gets put back on. We've got our oil pressure switch plugged in. This bloody oil sensor thing, piece of junk it is, the thread broke off there on that one, and this one seems that the whole end seems to have broke. So we're back. It's been a few days. I bought a new pressure gauge sender, replaced the one I broke. Interestingly, it's like a pass the parcel listing in one bag. In for some reason, it's triple bag, But there we go, we'll put that one in and try not to break this one. There we go, got that one in without breaking it. Next step, get the engine harness in. Hardest part's going to be getting the starter motor wire down to the starter motor, down there in the dark and grease, but we'll get this on. Let's try to put some water in it. We'll have some success here. We've got our main wires plugged in, fuel rails mostly bolted back in, got our injector plugs on. This one sort of fell a bit on the way in, so we just taped him up. We had a coil back in there. I extended the coil lead so I could mount it up the top here. So putting underneath the bottom where Ford put it. It's got to tighten all this stuff up soonish. And the other one to do is under here somewhere there's an earth wire. It wasn't long enough. There it is, I can kind of see it right there. Before it went down the air conditioner bracket, that loop's too small. So I might cut it off and put it onto here where the two gauges are on the rail there. And all we've got to do is put our throttle position switch back in. We'll lose the bolts out of it. Connect that up. And that is the wiring done. Alright, so I'm going to call that for this video. Next video we'll just finish a few things off in the engine bay and put the battery back in, put the right computer, it's got a computer in it sitting to just test the size of things, and we'll see if it runs. So next one's going to be a big one, and this one, they've got a bit covered in this one, so we'll put it together. And don't forget to like the channel, or subscribe to the channel, like the video, make any comments, ask any questions, and we'll see you next time. The next one should be a big one.